Hi, it's week 10, and here's your Saturday morning video. Our topic this week is funny books, and it's not an easy topic for me because personally I find everything funny, and sometimes that's a little confusing for students. But I think that it's really important. Kids often, I say, "What kind of books do you like?" "I like funny books." "All right. What do you think is funny?" And then try to help. But there are some books that are unequivocally, belly laughers. And I think middle grade, it's probably easier to find funny books. And then there are some books that don't look funny at all, but when you get in there, it's kind of hysterical. The four books we've looked at this week are Simon versus the Homo Sapien Agenda, which is out. The movie Love, Simon is out. I went and saw it last weekend, and it was, in fact, adorable, as is the book. Um, Better Nate Than Ever is the one middle grade title about a kid, and it's the first 4 pages of Better Nate Than Ever. It had me laughing hysterically. And it's about a kid who runs away to audition for a Broadway show. The Disenchantments, now that I'm thinking about it, is not particularly funny at all, but I did find parts of it very funny. And Nina LaCour, the woman who wrote it, just won the Prince Medal for her We Are Okay, which is not at all funny. It's a very sort of haunting but really wonderful book. So maybe I read those two back to back, so maybe that's why I thought it was funny, because it wasn't putting me in a weeping coma. So, it's got that going for it. And then Dumplin', which does have some funny parts and has a tremendous main character, and is in fact funny. I'm going to put my sword in the sand here and say it's funny. All right. The articles that we are reading this week are there's two sections from Gillespie and Nato's classic teen plots. There's a brief guide to book talking, just sort of explaining the nuts and bolts, and then there's a sort of formal breakdown of The Outsiders as a book talk. So that'll give you if you want to look at formal book talking, although the other one is Larry Rakow. I think it's Rakow. Anyway, it's his look at book talking from Book Talk exclamation point, but from 1980. I don't know if that's the right year, but I'm sort of thinking that it is the year that I myself started high school. But what I love about this, even though it's very long in the tooth, is that he's super enthusiastic about book talking, and I find that I myself am also. I love book talking. And he gives, sort of a really go get him, tiger kind of look at that. And honestly, even if it is in fact 1980, it's the oral tradition and hasn't changed much since then. And, the content of what we're talking about has, but the format of just telling a kid how enthusiastic you are about a book can be very, very powerful. All right, so that's the content. I did want to talk about the discussion, actually, the response piece. A couple of people, I feel like my instructions are really clear, but then people ask questions, and I'm like, maybe I'm maybe I'm fooling myself. So I just the response piece. There is it's mentioned in the rubric, but I believe I call it an essay in the rubric. It Any kind of format that you want to do that shows a careful reading and a sort of a deep look at your individual book that you're reading, your book group book, but that you're writing about individually, is fine. If you have any questions about that, feel free to ask me. The other thing is the discussion. There's two discussions because of, it's kind of a large number of students, so I split it. And one of them really sort of took off quick out of the gate, and the other one's taking a longer time to ramp up. I want to be really clear that this is not, you don't have to discuss every single thing that you've read about. You don't have to prove in the discussion that you've read this stuff. It is a discussion. I want it to be a collaborative conversation. So don't cite your sources. We're all talking about the same articles. If you come up with something else, if what you've read or what you've been thinking about has led you somewhere else and you found something great, like somebody in the book discussion posted a link to a video about the kids leaving London during World War II that was, uh, related to the war that saved my life, and that was really cool. And someone else had read an article about something, and feel free to cite those things, but don't feel like you have to cite the reading that you've done in here. And also, don't put up all of your thoughts in one post. You can come the same day and put in 3 different posts because that have 3 different ideas because we're doing threaded responses, and just makes it easier for a threaded response if you have sort of one main idea in each post. So keep them short and chunky, but more of them as opposed to those big, gorgeous ones that are hard to grade. Not that it's all about making it easy for me to grade, but it is also more conversational that way. I did want to just give kudos to the group that read The War That Saved My Life. It is God, it's really readable, and it's a great book. And they really came out of the gate strong. The first person who posted did do sort of an overview of the book, which I actually usually I'm like, I don't want to hear the plot of the book and the discussion, but that was good because it did give people who haven't read the book an opportunity to sort of see what it's about. But then as other people came in, it became much more conversational in the thread. So, take a look at that if you want to see how it's done. And do make sure that you put the title of the book right up top, I think even in the threads, because I'm reading them individually, like as they come in, I do the unread ones. Makes it easier for me. Can't we just make things easier for me? Okay, this is probably like 45 minutes long now, but oh no, look at me, under 7 minutes. It's a new record. All right, so if you have any questions, feel free to email me, keep the discussion going, and you'll be getting some feedback, some grading, stuff that's in. I'm gonna start on that right now. It's been a really good first week, so thank you for all your work. Oh, MSLA. I may send an email about this, but if anybody's going to the MSLA conference tomorrow at the crack of dawn, come by the Salem State table. Valerie and I are going to be there, and we'll be wandering around and stuff. So come up and say hi. We'll have name tags. We'll recognize each other. All right. So have a great week, and I'll see you next Saturday. Bye.